How's it going, gamers? It's the Chronic Gamer here, back with another video for you guys, and today we are going to be taking a look at the new Zhongli changes that are currently in the beta test realm. And these changes aren't confirmed yet, but these are just what Mihoyo is currently thinking about in terms of changing Zhongli. So first things first is that they are deciding to buff him. So when we're looking at what you're going to want to be building in the future, it looks like you're going to be wanting to build a lot more HP percent artifacts, perhaps even your watch, your timepiece. You're probably going to want HP percent instead of attack percent from now on, just because everything he does now is going to scale with HP. So his passive that you get when you ascend him, Dominance of Earth, I believe this is the passive they are talking about. Instead of getting 33% of Zhongli's max HP to your ult, you're also going to get an increase of 1.39% of your max health as attack damage. So your basic attack is going to get a lot more damage, and your stone resonance and holding damage, so basically your E, whether you press or whether you hold it, both of them are going to gain 1.9% of your max HP as damage. So basically around 2% of your HP, that could be quite a bit. If you have 20,000 HP, that's 400 extra damage. 400 extra damage on 20,000 HP. It's not going to be that hard for Zhongli to get. I wouldn't be surprised if we see most builds having Zhongli around 30,000 health, right? So it seems to be pretty good in terms of the overall damage. The main thing is probably the normal attacks are going to get a huge buff because Zhongli is going to be attacking quite fast because he's a polearm user. So they made another adjustment here. Now I believe what this says is when you hold to create a jade shield, you're also going to create a pillar instead of only just creating a pillar when you press. I'm not sure if they're getting rid of the press and hold or what they're doing, but from what I understood from it, I think the translation might be a little off because it's translated from Chinese to English, but from what I understood, they're buffing the hold. So when you hold to create a jade shield, you're also creating a pillar as an added bonus. They're going to increase his resistance to getting knocked back while he's channeling his shield. This is going to be really, really useful in things like the Spiral Abyss. You don't know how many times I've died where I'm trying to cast the shield and I just get knocked up in the air, and then all of a sudden I don't create the shield, I'm low on health, and then I die. So it's just overall a great buff. They're also going to be changing Geo Resonance. So instead of just getting 15% attack damage while protected by a shield, you are going to be getting 15% increase to damage dealt. So a flat increase to your total damage. I believe that is what it is saying, if it is translated correctly. It's also going to additionally increase your shield strength by 15%, and dealing damage, geo damage to enemies will decrease their geo resistance by 20% for 15 seconds, which is huge. This is a huge buff to geo resonance. You're going to be doing a lot more damage with your geo characters if you have the geo resonance on. This is a buff that geo needed. Geo was the one element that didn't really do any damage with the reactions, and damage is just king in this game. They're also going to change the elemental reaction. So instead of having 250% geo damage absorption, you're going to have 150% physical damage, elemental damage absorption. So basically, it's when you use the elemental reaction to create a shield, it's going to be more versatile. I think this is extremely useful because I find that the geo elemental reaction is just the worst in the game right now. Because it's just too specific. I actually was planning to make a video on my Zhongli for you guys already. I've been working on him, but then this announcement dropped. So I'm going to just ascend him on camera for you guys real quick. So as we can see, I was working on my Zhongli build, and I still am going 2-2 to get extra ult damage. But with the changes to his normal attacks seem like they're going to get a huge buff. I might consider running something like a Crescent Pike and 4-piece Bolide now. I think that main DPS Zhongli should be a thing now. However, I already put so much into making him a support. I am just going to keep him as such. So my timepiece is actually really, really good now. With these buffs coming into play, you're going to want to find yourself a timepiece very similar to this. HP is its main stat, crit rate and crit damage. Perfect. That's amazing. And then a little extra attack on there just for good measure. This is pretty much as good as you're going to get. Of course, defense you're not going to really want, so it could be better, but this is pretty much just amazing. You're going to be really, I think you're going to really want to look for those HP percent artifacts now, because just with everything, it's just, everything's scaling off HP now. HP is going to be a lot more important than it was before for Zhongli. My feather has a little bit of HP on it. It's just flat, so it's just, I think HP is more important than attack percent now. So you're going to be really wanting to go for HP percent, I think, on a lot more artifacts. But energy recharge is still going to be amazing. So definitely level those up. Energy recharge, as you can see, my flower has some HP percent and energy recharge. My flower, I thought before, was mediocre. Elemental mastery, I don't care about Geo elemental reactions, but now with the changes to Geo, the elemental mastery is not as bad as it once was. Especially because with the Geo characters, you have to use your Geo character to create the shield, so your elemental mastery matters a lot more on Geo characters if you're using the elemental reaction. So this flower went from being below average to probably above average to maybe even high tier, this artifact with the substats. So this is really exciting for me personally, because I was planning to replace the flower in the future, but now it's pretty good. It's pretty good flower. The only thing that I am kind of thinking of changing right now is probably the Royal Mask. Before, I was kind of unsure on whether I wanted to go for attack percent or a crit rate circlet. I was kind of on the fence a bit, but now seeing that our normal attacks are going to be doing a lot more damage, I think I want to crit them a lot more often. So I think that now it's just going to be, you definitely want a crit rate circlet without a doubt. I thought the 6.6% crit rate stat was good enough. It's still only level 15, so if I leveled up a bit, perhaps it would upgrade my crit rate a little bit more, and I thought perhaps that would be good enough, but now I'm thinking that you definitely want a main stat crit rate circlet for sure. My Geo damage bonus goblet, it's kind of just a placeholder. This is probably my worst piece. The 13.2% crit damage is nice. The elemental mastery isn't bad anymore. And then, of course, attack, but no HP at all. This is really, really bad with the changes to Zhongli. You definitely want at least some form of HP as a substat on each of your items. So, prioritize HP a lot more than everything else now. Attack percent's still really good. Crit rate is amazing, and crit damage, of course, because remember, like, if you're going, especially if you're going for a DPS builder, you're going to auto attack a lot. The crit rate and crit damage are one of the few things that are going to be very, very, very useful. And HP percent is especially good on Zhongli because he just has a lot of base health, more so than any other character. As you can see, my base health right now is just 13,000 just from being level 80. And I'm actually just going to send him for you guys right now so we can just see his increase. So as we can see, we're at 24,854 HP. So that's and 1,500 attack. Let's see how he looks like now. Boom. Got the achievement, boys. My first character that I've ascended from 80 to 90. And let's take a look. 25,904 HP. So he gained over 1,000 HP. Probably like 1,100 HP. And he only gained about 20 attack, so obviously that's not too strong. but that HP boost is going to start adding up. He is one of the highest scaling in the game in terms of HP, and now that his basic attacks are going to scale off HP and his E is going to scale off HP, both his damage and shield, and then his ult scales off HP now, he's just overall, HP is the thing to prioritize. So that's looking like it's going to be really, really fun. Alright, so boys, I decided to level up my Zhongli just to 81 to get that nice, cool 26,000 HP. I thought that, it would be fun to just to get that, that one extra level just to bump my HP past 26,000. We are in the domain Blessing of the Stone. So this is the domain which is going to enhance your geo damage bonus. So we should be seeing some really insane numbers with 165.4% geo damage bonus, a bunch of HP, a decent amount of health, and I got my ult up to talent level 8. I'm hoping to, increase it even further, because as you can see, the jump in attack scaling is huge between just each level, and the petrification duration. 0.1 doesn't seem like a lot, but it adds up over, the course of leveling it up multiple times. I'm hoping to get my Zhongli's ult to level 10. Hopefully I can do that before the patch, so we can kind of compare my Zhongli before the buff and after the buff. So without further ado, let's kind of test them out right now. Let's see if we can't just get them to, oh, they're all grouped up. 27k, I think. Not bad, not bad. Could be better. If you crit, obviously it's going to be doing a lot more. I only have a 20% crit chance. So obviously I am not doing the best in terms of damage right now. Do this. Alright, let's test it out. And we got 27k again. Obviously, these are pretty elite enemies and no crit. If I crit, I'd expect to see somewhere around 50k. I expect to see with a crit. Obviously, in the geo domain, it's going to be quite tough. But these guys are level 90 Abyss Mages, so they are getting a bunch of resistance as well. So although I have the 70% extra geo damage bonus, these numbers are actually quite realistic in terms of what I'm going to be seeing when I ult. I've seen, before ascending my Zhongli and not going in this domain with these elite enemies against these level 90s Abyss Mages, I have seen up to 40,000 damage with a crit from my ult. So obviously, I think that the geo damage bonus that I get from entering this domain kind of offsets the fact that I'm up against level 90s. There's just a huge difference in terms of levels between my Zhongli and the Abyss Mages, so I am doing reduced damage. If you're ever having trouble in like Spiral Abyss or something, maybe that's because you're fighting yellow leveled enemies or red leveled enemies. If an enemy's level is yellow, that means they have a significant advantage over you, so you're doing reduced damage. And if they are red, that means they have a major advantage over you, so you're doing greatly reduced damage to those enemies. So if you think that maybe a floor is impossible, that's not because your stats are too low. Even if you have really godly artifacts on your level 50, it's just because of the level difference comes into play, and it's kind of like a soft cap for you guys. So I would say that this damage is pretty accurate because I'm up against a yellow elite enemy. If I was up against an enemy, even without the 70% geo damage bonus, a white leveled enemy that's kind of like weaker, I can see myself doing around the same amount of damage. So anyways, guys, that was the damage that we kind of are looking at for my Zhongli right now. I can't wait to compare my Zhongli's damage from right now before the buffs to my Zhongli's damage after the buffs. to both Geo and himself. I'm quite excited, so look forward to seeing that video when the buffs go live. I think they're going live in 1.3, although it's not confirmed, so it may take a while for the buffs to come to play. But anyways, guys, I'm the Chronic Gamer. I'll see you in the next video.